Hey guys, it's Miss Coconut. How are y'all doing? It's Monday night. It's Moon Day, right? It's the day of the intuition. It's time for you to tap in to your inner guide. And I think if you are in tune with your inner guide, it will not steer you wrong and you will make better decisions about your life. So on Mondays, I am going to try to introduce Storytime, where I'm going to talk about dating when you are 49 and over. So this is for my older sisters because things are a little bit different when you hit that 49-year mark. And I think at times, just from what I read and some of the sessions I have with some of you, I think at times you feel like, the clock has ticked all the way out. And so what you accept and allow, you kind of lower your standards because you think you're running out of time. A lot of people are coming out of marriages long term, long relationships. The babies are grown, and now you're looking around trying to figure out, okay, what next? How do you attract a man at this age? And maybe you haven't leveled yourself up, right? So your clothing is outdated. Your hairstyle is the same one you've had for 25 years. Maybe you're still, wearing those big, thick glasses. You haven't learned how to do your makeup. Whatever it is, right? You're trying to bring yourself into this modern dating world. And so you're going to encounter lots of different scenarios, and you're going to need to know how to deal with them effectively. So there is a certain type of person you're going to encounter along this dating journey at 49 and up. Let's just say 50, dating over 50, okay? I did write a book about it. It's like a part one. Eventually, I'm going to put it all together. It's like an e-guide, okay? It's called Sugar Milfing, Getting the Bag, Securing the Bag Over 50. So, here's the story time, y'all. Here's the tea. Here's the tea, darling. So I was at this club one night. It was a hot summer night. I was feeling wonderful. I had on some booty shorts. And this sexy Haitian man approached me and decided he wanted to dance with me. And we had a great time dancing. And, he bought me a drink, and then he asked for my number. So we exchanged numbers. And so he called me like the next day, and we're chit-chatting, and he asked me to go out with him. He's like, where do you want to go? So I pick a restaurant, and we decide we're going to meet like the next week or so. So here comes time, for the date. We've been talking throughout the week, like texting and stuff, getting to know one another. Everything's pleasant. We meet for the date, and it's a nice date, It's a nice date. And so then he says, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Because then tomorrow we were going to go back out to the club and dance and have fun again. Because it was fun, y'all. Just dark and, quaint and cute and hot. So we go back to the club. We have a great time again. It's, a good time. And so we come out the next week and, we're talking every day. Now he's calling me. He wants to hear my voice. And we're getting to know each other. But I work a lot, so I don't have a whole lot of time to date, right? So I don't get to see him that much, all right? But we continue to talk every day. We text all day. He calls me every day. So we're developing or cultivating a friendship, which I didn't mind because I hadn't been dating. So he was like the first guy I decided to actually pay attention to. And it was kind of nice to have that attention from him. And so we're just getting to know each other. There was no sexual flirting in the conversations. There were no pictures being exchanged. It was just a genuine, I thought, friendship that we were cultivating. So finally, one day, after like 3 weeks of not seeing him, and he's, saying to me, I want to see you, blah, blah, blah. So I finally say to him one day, oh, I'm off this upcoming Friday. I just wanted to let you know that. He was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. We should do something. What do you want to do? I said, oh, well, we can go hang out at XYZ. I love it by the waterfront there. There's plenty of places to eat, and we can walk and sightsee and have a great time. Okay. So then we go on as usual. We text, we call all day long. Well, I don't call him or text him. He texts and calls me. I have a particular rule about things like this. I just don't call and text men. I don't. So, unless, I'm responding. And then I might break that rule like every 3 or 4 weeks. I might text or call them without them prompting. But I'm really very laid back when I'm getting to know someone. So anyway, we were texting and calling as usual. And Friday came and he sent me a text that morning confirming the date again. But he said something interesting. He said, hey, are we still on for today after work, or are we going to see each other tomorrow? Well, I had never mentioned anything about the next day. I had only mentioned Friday because that was the only day I happened to be off. And he said he was going to take off as well, and we we're going to meet at this waterfront. And so I said to him, no, we're meeting today like we planned. Here's where you're going to meet me. I'll see you later. I get off at 5. So when he never responded, okay, to my last text, I didn't think anything of it because I know a lot of times when people work like in government buildings and things like that, they don't have access to their phone, or they get busy and they don't come back and check the phone, all kinds of things. So I just didn't think anything about it. So at 5 o'clock, I finally text him because I'm like, hey, I haven't heard back from you now. So I'm like, hey, what's your, estimated time of arrival? And he didn't respond. And then about 15 minutes later, he calls me. And I'm like, hey, where are you? And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm in Maryland. I'm like, well, what are you doing there? I thought you were on your way here, He's like, you never text me back. Y'all. Y'all. I said, excuse me? He said, yeah, you never text me back this morning. I text you and you never text me back. I said, of course I text you back. I texted you immediately, and I'm going to screenshot it and send it to you. So I send that to him, and he says he didn't get that either. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go enjoy my evening. Well, no, come to Maryland and we can find something. No, because that wasn't the plan. I'm not sure why you didn't get my text. Out of all the days you've been texting me for a month straight, nothing ever went wrong. But now the one day you get to prove yourself to me and impress me, that's the day you decide that the text messages don't work. I said, you know what? It's okay. I'm just going to go do something else. So I ended up doing something else with my friend. And, he called me about 2 more times that night, and I ignored it because I just wasn't really interested in what he had to say. And so I gave it a few days. He would text me as usual, and I just didn't respond. And once I had calmed down, because I was a little perturbed. And once I calmed down, I was able to answer his text. And I said, look, we talk and text all the time. I find it a little suspect that the one day you were supposed to come out and meet me, that you didn't get my text back. And I said, honestly, I don't have a lot of time to date, and I don't want these type of issues. It's just not something I'm willing to deal with. And he apologized profusely. He said, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't get your text. I like you. I wouldn't lie. Why would I do that to you? I promise you. And then I'm like, look, it's just best for us to just end this here. I'm not mad or anything. I just don't feel like dealing with this kind of thing. And then he texts me back a few days later. He's like, maybe you text your friends and you sent that to your friend. So you should check your phone. I was like, oh, so now you're gaslighting me. So here's my take from this when it comes to dating and intuition. If you're dating someone and you always are in contact with him and you've established a rhythm and there's a pattern here, okay? And then they break pattern. Pay attention the first time it happens, because more than likely it's going to keep happening. Because if he had said to me that day when I said, hey, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm in Maryland. I'm at the gym. You never responded to me. And so, I went to the gym. Well, why didn't you call me? That was so odd to me. And then even when I said, oh, well, I'm still out where I was, where you were supposed to meet me at, he didn't say, okay, stay there. I'm coming. Will you please stay there? I'm sorry I messed it up. I'm on my way. He never tried to make amends. And here's the point of the dating story, that most women would fail to listen to their intuition because they're desperate, they're needy, they're older, and they feel like they're not going to have a man. So here's the point where most of us would say, okay, no problem. I'll come meet you in Maryland, where there is not a lot to do, certainly not the caliber of places where I would have wanted to go that night. And I'm generalizing. There's plenty of fabulous places in Maryland. I just know where he was, so yeah. And at that point, you have to be tapping into what your spirit is picking up about someone. Basically, he's been wasting my time for 3 weeks and I've been allowing it, right? Because I like the attention. It was something to do, someone to talk to, blah, 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 blah. But I'm never outside of myself enough to believe someone's story, lie, or fib over what my internal voice is telling me. And I know a lot of you will hear this story and think, oh, you could have given him a chance. Text messages fail all the time. But it was the part about, it really wasn't even the part about the text message failing, because that does happen occasionally. It was more about what he chose to do with the information once I let it be known that I did, in fact, text you. And the funny part about this story is he texted me all Saturday and Sunday and Monday night and Tuesday night. So now the text is working. When people show you who they are, believe it the first time. So you're going to encounter this person that's going to want to take up all your time, soak up all your energy, pay you false compliments. And the reality is he didn't want to spend the money on me. He didn't want to take me out on a proper date. And that's why he concocted this story. And you have to be willing to not accept someone treating you less than you deserve. And so when you encounter these people where their actions don't line up with their words and they're always just trying to take from you, because he wanted to call me and offload on me, about how his day was, and if he's bored and he has downtime and he wants to take up my time. And sometimes I'd be tired, or sometimes I just didn't feel like answering the phone. And the next day he was like, I called you, duh, I see you called me, nimwit. And so he was using me as an emotional blanket piece, but he had no intention of dating me. So ladies, when you encounter these type of men and they're not trying to make dates with you. Now, I know in my case, I really was busy, but the moment that I was free and I chose to give it to you, he fumbled. He was right at that court line. What is that basketball saying? He was like at the 3-point line. He was at the line and it was like 3 seconds left on the clock. He had to throw the free throw. You know what I'm saying? It was down to the last quarter. All he had to do was punt the ball. Okay, I know I'm butchering the football and basketball terminology, but you get my point. When you give a man an opportunity to impress you and he fails, don't give any second chances. Walk away immediately. At our age, we can't afford to give men second and third chances. We just don't have the time. The clock has ticked out. It's ran out already. So we're trying to now find our companion for this next part of our life. So we are taking care of ourselves. We're getting in that gym. We're being dedicated with our fasting and our dieting. and we're making sure we drink water. We're learning how to take care of our skin. We are doing our beauty regimens. We are doing everything we do to make sure that we are in line and in place for the wonderful man that we wish to attract in our life. So, honeys, the next time a man tries to waste your time, don't allow it. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed my story time. I'll see y'all next Monday with another story about dating at 50 or 49 and a half. And I will be back later this week with some witchy tips about money. Thank you for listening, and good night.